Hey, how's it going? I hope you're doing good. So I was going to do a couple things tonight. I was just going through and I wanted to make sure you could read the label on these, but my mom baked some loaves of bread. And so here's a loaf of bread that my mom baked, and it smells really good. And I'll probably make toast with it or sandwiches. But what I got to do, because here in Florida, it will spoil after a few days. I'm going to slice it and freeze it, and then I will have the slices. I'll use parchment paper on it. But the point of this video is to have some canned peaches. And so a few years ago, I was just like, I was doing all these videos on Facebook, which have been deleted one. And I was like, I'm going to just get canned peaches. I really like canned peaches. And the canned peaches that I really liked were just peaches, water, and sugar. Peaches, sugar, water. I don't know what and I thought that really had like nice flavor to them. They didn't have anything else in them. But here in Florida, I can't find them. I can't find just peaches, sugar, water, canned peaches. So at Walmart, they come in 100% juice, and they have, here's the ingredients, and you can read it there. They've got peach juice, pear juice, natural flavor, and ascorbic acid or vitamin C. And I also have some pear halves, which are also in juice. And I like to keep these peaches in the fridge because that way they're cold, and I kind of like them cold. But I was just thinking of this, and I thought, oh, it's just the peaches juice, peaches, sugar, water, and but it's not. It's in the juice, but that's fine. I will have them. That's probably why I haven't been eating as much as the canned peaches as I normally would, is because they have all that other stuff in them, all the other juices in them, which is sort of fine, I guess. But and I thought, let's see, this one. So this one has, and so they've been changing this a lot. So this one has the pull tab, and this one doesn't have the pull tab. So I don't know how old this one is. This one expires in May of 2026, and this one expires in September of 2026. So I don't know why, which one has what. But I was a little bit disappointed because when I was in Washington and Vancouver, and I was posting on Facebook a lot, like Facebook Live, I like the peaches. My apartment was really hot. Like, it just got really hot and humid in the apartment, and I could have some canned peaches, and it just kind of was like nice, cool, and refreshing. So sometimes I don't really find the right time to have them, and pretty much everybody I know likes to buy like fresh fruit from the grocery store, and so it's I don't know. It was something I started doing, and I liked it. And so anyway, I'm gonna open these. I'll show it to you here. I'll open these here, and I'm just gonna have some canned peaches because I think they'll be refreshing. I think they'll be nice. So I'm gonna get a fork here, a fork and a spoon, and a bowl, and it's sort of that, why they're not selling, peaches with just peaches, sugar, and water, as opposed to the juice. I don't know why. It's one of those things where are things being removed from the marketplace, or things that have always been around? Here they are. You can see them here. They have nice color to them, but I don't know. I don't know. I was totally expecting these to not have the juice in them, because I feel like the juice kind of changes the flavor, and they just have the water in them, but I don't know. So that'll change. So the juice isn't bad. It's just It's just not, it just changes the flavor profile of the peaches. So, and I usually can't eat an entire, I can't eat an entire can at once, but I'll have a few of them. So anyway, I'm gonna come over here and I'll bring this over here and I'll eat I'll eat peaches. So, I liked them so much when I started going to the grocery store. I had EBT for a little while before I became disabled, and I would get just like regular groceries. I became really interested in like the standards because I felt like the standards like either couldn't be kept and were abandoned, or were not shown, or were not put in the grocery store anymore. Because if you go to the, you can go to like the USDA website and they have all these standards. And so like one of the things I found was, grade A white honey at the grocery store, and I bought it because I knew that it was part of a grade or a standard. And then after that, I couldn't find it anymore. And so a lot of things, have these standards, but I don't know that they can be maintained, or I don't know that they're used anymore. So, it's just very vague. But anyway, here's what the peaches look like, and these are from Walmart. And these are all right. They have they have kind of the juice flavor to them, and I don't like as much as just peaches water and juice, peaches sugar water, but they're all right. They're not bad. I found that if it's really hot, and I get hot really easily, having some canned peaches kind of cools things down. And so I would just eat some canned peaches and it would taste really good. So nowadays, I just sort of put them in the fridge and, I eat them once in a while. But I have to find the right time because, it's like, oh, just have, whatever's in season, or, have peaches from the, the grocery store when they're in season and whatnot. But I don't know, it was all kind of a theme of like, like what foods are outside of the standards and what foods are part of the USDA standards. And, why were the standard, this is just sort of a theme, like thought process conversation, but why are the standards abandoned? Could they not be upheld? And then you would sort of have these other products that would come in that would be sort of like these luxury products that were outside of the USDA standards. And that's maybe because the USDA standard couldn't be met and they were, trying to do a different marketing process or something. Sort of a mini mystery around it because, the USDA has like, they have like, you could go and look and they would have like eight different cheeses that were graded under USDA as sort of like, the ones that were the standards for cheeses. And, you could go to a Walmart and they would have the cheeses in half pound chunks. I'll show you one. And then some of the Walmarts would have them and some of the Walmarts would not. So, and it was just kind of like, where is all the food going? And, why do we not have these sort of standard quality foods? Like where have they all gone? So, So this is an 8-ounce Colby Jack and Monterey Jack cheese, and this is a blend because it's 2 different cheeses. And then you have like a 1-pound Monterey Jack from Walmart. And what I didn't really understand is, I feel like, a lot of people feel like the quality has gone down over the years. Maybe the safety has gone up, but the overall quality or the core ingredients have gone down. And so maybe that's why, a lot of these things don't fall into the USDA standards, and they're just sold outside of it or whatever. But like whole milk mozzarella, right? Like it was a standard item, and I think it's one of the 8 cheeses. I think Monterey Jack, I don't know if Colby is mozzarella, maybe a Havarti, a Munster, whatever those 8 cheeses are. If you try to go now, everything is low moisture part skim. It's not the same. And string cheese. Like I remember, when I was a little boy, you could get string cheese and it's about that big around. It was thick and it was pretty long, and it was very like pull and stringy, and must have had a lot of cream content in it or something, And today I feel like a lot of it just doesn't really have that, that flavor profile. You have to buy something that looks like it's outside of the USDA standard, or it's like a wet mozzarella product or something. So, I don't even know if I'm sure the canned peaches and the canned pears are part of that as well, but maybe since COVID, they've just been eliminating products from the retail market, like Peaches sugar water as a canned peaches, instead of now it has to have the juices in it. I don't know. I just haven't been able to find them, and so I bought like a case of them, and sometimes I would buy things because I thought, well, they may disappear. They may go off the shelf, or you may not be able to find them anymore. And I was just sort of not spending very much each week, and I had sort of a routine where it was like, I'd get money, and then I would go to the grocery store, buy gas, and then I didn't have any more money. I would just stay home. And I had all these Facebook live videos, and all the Facebook live videos have now been deleted. And so I downloaded all of them, but they're downscaled quite a bit from what they were. I think they were in 720p. Facebook downscaled them to 360p. And then the zip file has, some of them have really long character strings, so you can't actually play the video unless either you change the file name or you have to get a program, and it's a zip system and it may corrupt the file. So I don't have access to all the videos that I did. But the main reason of doing that, on Facebook was that so I could look back and say, hey, when this was a really tough time or whatever, what was I doing? I was cooking, I was playing video games, I was going for a walk, like what all was going on. And Facebook for a while was doing timeline and stuff. So you could say, where was I, on this day 5 years ago? What was I doing? And they've done some of that with posts and things, but by getting rid of the live videos, I don't have any of that anymore. I don't remember it. I don't have a record of it, So, so that kind of problem, sort of exists, where you sort of say, well, what was something I did on that day, or where was I? And then by using the app like Instagram or Facebook, you go back and look and say, oh yeah, I was cooking ribs. I was having canned peaches. I was doing stuff. So, that's all been sort of disappointing, but, you sort of move on, and I was really into the canned peaches with canned peaches sugar water for quite a while, and then I come here, I can't find them. I have to get the ones with juice, and so you just eat them once in a while, and they're good. They cool you down, and you stay a little cool in the hotter weather, and yeah, so. Anyway, I still struggling to find standard whole milk mozzarella, just regular mozzarella, not the skim milk kind, which I can't really find. So I just sometimes have Monterey Jack, and the standard 8 cheeses of the USDA and whatnot. But it's harder to find. I don't really know if there's any grocery store where I've been that carries just the arrangement of USDA standard foods, that are graded and everything, So they have some of them, and then they have other ones that aren't. But a lot of the ones that I looked at in the documents and the reading, like they don't have it, or they don't show it, because either my understanding was that because the standards were so old that the current food processing could not maintain those foods or those standards, so they didn't offer them anymore. But I don't know the whole story. It'd be fun to learn that, or have some type of news article about it, about where we are with those things, like a grade A chicken, or things like that, where, people talk about, well, it's so inexpensive, and they're smaller, and they're not very large, and, what's the issue? What's the problem? They're not healthy or whatever. But I think way back when, the USDA had standards for chickens, a grade A chicken, and I don't remember much of it. These are just mentions and things. And I don't think that standard could be upheld. So it wasn't sold anymore. So maybe it would just be in the inspected category and stuff. And so then, sort of as a side thing, it would be like, well, this is something that's undergrown and it's smaller, but we're going to say it's either a lower priced item or a luxury. It'll go into the luxury category. But it sort of circumvented the USDA standards. I don't know this for sure or what, but all that stuff has sort of gone, away or whatnot. And so, when I would go into the USDA stuff and look at what things were actually grades and standards for different foods, and then I would go to the grocery store, a Fred Meyer, or here it's Publix or whatever, or a Walmart. None of it was actually there. It was all other stuff. So anyhow, I hope you're doing good. I'm having the peaches. These are with the juice, the pear juice, and whatever the other juice is. I hope you're doing good, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.